Neo Eagles League was built to be what I would say a stepping stone for all of the Blue Lockers to improve and play with new Gen 11 players and Master Strikers so they can develop better weapons, better play styles, and just improve themselves overall. And I feel like everybody objectively got better. Batra, we just saw him score a goal. He's definitely improved. Ren has improved. Isagi has improved. We've seen all of these main strikers and our main players improve, of course, right? But there is one player in particular that I do want to talk about today specifically that has went above and beyond, and I feel like in putting his own ego aside and being able to pass the ball around, right? And just in better improvement in general, right? And the player I'm talking about today is Shidou Ryusei, the Demon of Blue Lock, right? So we get introduced to this character in third selection where he is this top dog. He's the top 2 in Blue Lock. He is this top dog that basically has a godly knack, a God-given talent, if you will, to score goals, right? It doesn't matter if his back is turned to the goal, if he's sideways to the goal. As long as he's in the penalty box, a goal is possible, which makes it so wary for defenders to even be able to guard him in the first place. In third selection, we see this first case when he is playing with Isagi and Ren, and he's easily scoring on anybody. Easily. Like it's a second nature. And Shidou, you could say in third selection and the U20 arc, he was built up to be this antagonist, and he didn't disappoint. He gave the Blue Lock 11 a run for their money in the U20 game just due to the fact that he is one of the best strikers in the series under 20, right? His scoring ability is absurd. His acrobatics are absurd. It's just hard to put Shidou under just one placement because he's pretty much good at everything when it comes to shooting, as long as it's in a penalty box. His spatial awareness also is something that's very underrated and not spoken about at all. His spatial awareness in the box is so good that he can shoot not even looking at the box. As long as he has somewhat contact with the ball, he doesn't have to look at the box. Similar thing with his link up with Sai. As long as he's in the box, it's just that's all that's provided. He needs to be in the box. He can shoot from there. Even a good goalkeeper like Gagamaru can't stop his shots consistently. But we're not supposed to be exactly getting into U20 and the third selection. I just wanted to give everybody a little rundown on what he's capable of before I talk about the Neo Egoist League, Shidou, right? So why I think the Neo Egoist League and PxG benefited Shidou in the best ways possible is because I think it taught him self-control and somewhat of pacing yourself, you know what I'm saying, right? Because Shidou is an aggressive player. You can get that from his personality. He's a very aggressive player and a dominant player at that. And the best example we can get of his development is going into the Bashed and PxG game, which in the Bashed and PxG game, he is the first one to score a goal against, and this is a way better Gagamaru. He scores a goal against Gagamaru, a header in particular, and he links up with Charles, right? So just when you think that Shidou is just a striker, right? Because Shidou, off of his entire introduction, hasn't been one to pass the ball or like sharing his glory. He'll celebrate others' glory, but he wouldn't want to share his own glory, right? He wants all the goals for himself, and that's perfectly fine as a striker. But you have players like Ren and Isagi that are able to link up with multiple players because they can pass and they can get the ball around and then get it back to themselves. Now, why I think PxG fixed Shidou is because in the middle of this game, after realizing everybody's awakenings like Isagi and Kaiser passing it to each other and Ren slightly struggling with them, he goes further and develops, oh my god, I'm about to cry when I say this, and he develops the ability to pass the ball. And why this is such a good thing is because that makes him such a better player if he's able to throw these emotions aside and his ego aside, and he doesn't need to score every goal. Or maybe he has the mentality that the ball can get passed back to him, right? Because Shidou is not just a one-dimensional striker, like, at all. He's not just a one-dimensional striker at all. The PxG game was able to help him realize that sometimes you linking up with another player that is a striker of some sort isn't a bad thing, right? So there is constant moments in this game where Shidou is passing the ball to Ren or passing the ball to Charles and setting up an entire counter link up. It's actually beautiful to watch, because seeing a player like Shidou that's like usually just used for scoring goals, and he's actually helping out the entire team, I just feel like it's great. That alone, he doesn't need to make a new weapon. He doesn't need to have a crazy awakening like Ren or Isagi, but that small little improvement just took him so far. It just took him so far, because that shows that he can get along with other players, and he's not the same wild card that he was in third selection or U20, where he literally was trying to fight players and he could not get along with anybody, except for the players like Saitoshi that could tame him, right? But that's not a problem anymore. That's not an issue. He can actually play as a team player, and that makes him way more reliable and way more functional with other players, right? Even when you consider like Ren and Shidou's rivalry, he was still able to put that aside and pass him the ball to try and win the game. I think he was one of the main contributors on PxG, not even just outside of him scoring a goal. Shidou, let's not even just talk about his passing. His defending has also improved. Shidou was able to stop Hiyori's pass to Kaiser. Like, he literally got there right before the Kaiser impact. So he was able to get there and stop Kaiser. That's a beautiful defensive feat, if you ask me. Beautiful defensive feat. I wouldn't necessarily argue that he outsped the Kaiser impact, because we're not totally sure where he was at before Kaiser was about to shoot. We know he was right next to him, but we don't know how long it took him to get there. But I wouldn't say he technically outsped the Kaiser impact, but just alone, that's one of Hiyori's passes. Intercepting it is like crazy, or intercepting it or clearing it is still crazy. That's Hiyori. Somebody's passes that were comparable to Sai, right? So y'all get the memo. Shidou has improved, and I would just want to note, without any crazy awakening, without any crazy realization, he's improved so much just off the fact that he can pass now, better physicality, I would assume. I just feel like all the under 20 players in the New Eagles League got a boost of physicality and everything else. But it's clear that this is a way better improved Shidou Ryusei than we saw in the U20 arc and just earlier off in the series. And it's really great to see the small little developments with these characters that boost them up to a good level, right? Now, do I think he's better than Baro? That's a conversation for another day. But I just wanted to talk about and give a little praise to Shidou Ryusei, since that's not a character I talk about a lot on this channel. And hopefully everybody agrees that Shidou Ryusei is better for the good of his team, right? Even though he's sitting on the bench right now, eventually when he's subbed in, we'll know he get his shine time, right? So that's all I just wanted to talk about today. And I will see you guys in the next one. Like and subscribe if you messed with this video. And I appreciate it. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.